With that, we come to the next special keynote, which is Indian Web Browser Development Challenges by MeiTY. For delivering this, we'd like to invite Mr. Dilip Barman, Assistant Controller Technology, Controller of Certifying Authorities, CCA. It's over to you. Please put your hands together and welcome our next speaker on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dilip Barman from Office of CCA. And my colleague from CDEC, Dr. Balaji, will be joining me. Please come. So, actually, the country has been thinking of an Indian browser for a long time. Somehow, some of the initiatives have been made, but across all the platforms, no Indian browser is working. So that's one point we had in our mind. So let's basically develop one browser which works across all the platforms. And at the same time, since Indian SSL certificates are not recognized by majority of the web browsers, so let us have our own browsers where Indian certificate, CCS certificates, Control of Certifying Authorities certificates are incorporated inbuilt, so that the certifying authorities which issue our certificates are basically recognized, and at the same time the websites using our certificates are recognized by the browser, and accordingly they are visible. And accordingly, in some respect, our basically internet will be resilient to, and that's how the concept of Indian browser has come. I suppose the concept of browser is not a new thing, but since we had different ideas in mind, so that's how we have gone on through an Indian browser. So we are thinking whether we should assign some agency to develop an Indian browser, and later on, and we came out with a solution. What we can do, we can basically throw a challenge, open challenge to the participants or the community, internet community in the country, so that whoever is interested, they can come with solution. So that's how basically we have challenge competition. We have basically organized challenge competition that has been already launched by our ministry, and so the challenge is on. So I suppose another next 30-35 days are there to submit the proposal. The websites and other things are there, portals are there. The interested participants can participate in the Indian browser challenge and competition, and we have basically given some stages. Stage 1 is for ideation on stage, where we will be selecting 18 number of participants or organizations, and they will come to the next stage with the prototype. So out of the prototype, we will be selecting 8 best prototypes in the country, and they will go to the final productionization stage, where they, based on their product, will be selecting, the jury will be selecting the 3 participants, 3 winners in fact, and the first prize set for the winners will be 1 crore of Indian rupees, second is 75 lakhs, and third is 50 lakhs. So, and in different stages, even for 18 participants, we have earmarked for 2 lakhs each for as a prize. Then for the next stage, it is 10 lakh for 8 participants. So then goes the final. So that is the process actually we will be following, and ideally we'll be allowing each and everyone to participate. So we have kept it open and request you to participate in the process, so that India has got a browser in the next 2 to 3 years. That is the idea. The first year, whatever product is developed, we will try to start a product for next 3 years, and by that time, it will be international standard, and accordingly, India will have a browser. So we have a small presentation on regarding the Indian browser challenge. So my colleague from CDAC Bangalore will be presenting the uh, topic, and over to Alaiji.
Thank you, sir. So why we need an indigenous browser, I think sir has explained very well, but just like to brush through what are the important points are. Of course, browser can influence our behaviors. It can track the desires of us, and of course has the potential to promote the pages of their own interest. And of course, with the latest DNS coming in, especially DOH and DOT, browsers also can put in their own privacy DNS servers into that. As far as Indian browser challenge is concerned, the key requirement is they should have a built-in trust store. What I mean by trust store is basically when you type HTTPS : so that is referring to a digital certificate which is there in your as a file in your browsers. So the container which is going to hold those certificates is called as a trust store, and we want the Indian web browsers to have its own indigenous trust store. That is the number one key requirement. And of course, the second requirement is they should have the Indian CCA root certificate as the first or the key root certificate within the trust store. That is number two. And of course, protect the security and privacy of the users. And there are several other features which should be incorporated within that particular browser. And these standard things like they should support as many platforms and as many devices as possible. They should comply with the W3C standards, and they should support the Indian languages and accessibility. One of the key thing is that, as you know, that we are able to digitally sign documents. I'm not sure how many of you are aware in this forum. India has actually IT Act from the year 2000, which enables the people to digitally sign and which is recognized by the Court of Indian Law from the year 2000. So even at the taluk level, the documents or the government documents are digitally signed. But currently, there is no provision for digitally signing documents within the browser environment. So we like to have the Indian web browser to have the feature for digitally signing documents within the browser using the standard crypto tokens which are given by the certifying authorities in the country. So that is required. And of course, then the parental features like web filtering, child-friendly browsing, all are required. The stages, of course, you can look at this URL, iwbdc.in, Indian Web Browser Development Challenge, iwbdc.in. You can visit this site and you can look at for more details. But right now, I'll just very briefly run through this thing as sir was mentioning. Right now, the ideation phase is open. The challenge was launched on 9th of August, and the ideation phase will be closing by 22nd of September 2023. And from that ideation phase, from the thousands of applications that will be received, 18 teams will be moving to the next stage, which is called as a prototyping stage. From where, again, there will be a further filtration. 8 teams will move to the final productization stage, and from finally 3 winners will be selected. And this is going to be spread over 1 year period, so approximately. So by next August, we should be ready with the 3 winners. And then the first winner, when I say winner, actually the number 1 position. So he will be, or they will be, the entity will be supported by NICSI for a period of 3 years for further cash support. So this is how the sir was mentioning the ideation phase winners will be having 18 prizes. Each will be getting a 2 lakh prize, and the deadline is 22nd of September 2023. The prototype stage will have 8 prizes with 10 lakh each. And of course, the deadlines are also given here. And the winner will take a prize of 1 crore. And the first runner-up will take a prize of 75 lakhs. And second runner-up will take a prize of 50 lakh. And the winner will again be supported for a period of 3 years for sustaining themselves from NICSI. That also is again to the amount of up to 50 lakhs. So who all can participate? Anyone, Indian tech startups, MSMEs, companies, LLPs, all can participate. Of course, as an individual, you can participate, but what we mean by individual is you should be a minimum of 3 members and maximum of 7 members. Okay, so we don't really require a single person is not really eligible, but we would look like a team, as individuals. That's what we like to participate here, mention here. That's a condition here. And people who are participating in the individuals category will be having a slightly different evaluation criteria as the jury may decide. And of course, 18 years is the minimum criteria for age, and only one member per team can participate. And members of the participating entity should be mutually exclusive. What that means is one member cannot be part of multiple teams. And you can look at the detailed terms and conditions in the web pages. And of course, all the other conditions like the IPR and all those things, IPR belongs to you, but suppose if you become the winner, it is MeiTY's responsibility to look at whether you are really promoting and popularizing the browser for the public use. So otherwise, MeiTY will take certain actions to ensure that it goes to the wider public. And the very important point, which I think is that you are free to use free and open source libraries, but at the same time, you are expected to make significant and original contributions to the core engine before you reach your solution to the final round. So this is a very important point which I thought should be mentioned here. And obviously, you should share the complete source code for evaluation, executable files, documentations, everything has to be taken care. So once again, already the web pages and registration pages are open. You can visit the iwbdc.in website, or you can also, if there are any queries, you can take it up. You can mail to us at iwbdc@cdac.in. We'll be responding to your queries as early as possible. And Office of MeiTY and CDAC is like to have this browser, and we would like to see a huge number of participation for this particular challenge. So that's it from our side. If there are any couple of questions, we can take it. We have 3 minutes time, I guess.
Actually, our idea is to get maximum of participants from the user community or the stakeholders. So our request will be to participate in maximum numbers of numbers so that we can have our own browsers in the near future. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dilip and Mr. Balaji, for walking us through. Truly a great challenge to be reckoned, a challenge by the ministry to have our own indigenous web browser. And the main prize was 1 crore. If that did not register, let it register now. So opening up the participation, so requesting the community to spread the awareness far and wide so we can have more participants coming in.